I would have won a videotape on me with my zip line on there.
This is everybody. We're down in West Virginia.
We're Grand Vue Park in Moundsville.
Just had a bunch of ribs.
Mason-Dixon barbecue.
See what I got on my boot. Yeah,
And Daddy and Pappy are going to go for a little walk. We're going to walk the 3 holes of the golf course.
Okay, so bye.
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 I would have won a videotape on me with my zip line on there.
This is everybody. We're down in West Virginia.
We're Grand Vue Park in Moundsville.
Just had a bunch of ribs.
Mason-Dixon barbecue.
See what I got on my boot. Yeah,
And Daddy and Pappy are going to go for a little walk. We're going to walk the 3 holes of the golf course.
Okay, so bye.
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 Wow, this is really cool. It's our flags. Well, I'm pretty sure it's the West Virginia flag and the American flag. The wind's settling down. We're at the Mason-Dixon barbecue.
There's the zip line part of it down here on the right.
Where?
That's where you get off of it, right down there.
Yeah.
You can walk down that way.
Let's see. That's where the zip line is done. But
Hey,
yeah.
that's a little cemetery there. Go show them the time. It's an old cemetery.
I see. Okay. Bye. Wow, this is really cool. It's our flags. Well, I'm pretty sure it's the West Virginia flag and the American flag. The wind's settling down. We're at the Mason-Dixon barbecue.
There's the zip line part of it down here on the right.
Where?
That's where you get off of it, right down there.
Yeah.
You can walk down that way.
Let's see. That's where the zip line is done. But
Hey,
yeah.
that's a little cemetery there. Go show them the time. It's an old cemetery.
I see. Okay. Bye.
I sat up in a deer stand all day 2 years ago, didn't see anything.
Hello, Grandma.
Froze.
Hello, Grandma.
Can you see the large?
We are going
way
to
down there?
interview today.
See lines way down there?
Me.
Yeah.
Well, there's a
My
road
hair's a
underneath it.
mess.
When they
We're already
making this
recording.
widen, we decided to walk out it.
Okay, so answer my questions. What was your
Walked
greatest
to the place
vacation?
where they ended.
Greatest vacation.
And then another time
Best
when we did
vacation.
take a
When I went to
ride,
Nassau when I
and
first
we
learned to
climbed
scuba
down off
dive.
of it,
So you went
They
scuba
had-
diving?
truck, or
62,
a
I
little
learned
bus
to scuba dive.
to pick us
Wow.
up and take us back up.
Okay, another
Pretty good.
question.
Grandma learned to scuba dive at 62. Ask Pappy when he learned to scuba dive.
When did you learn to scuba dive, Pappy?
Well, I was pretty young. And
How old?
Probably in his late teens, early 20s.
Yeah. And
You
I
were
did a lot of
young.
diving.
He dove
So-
when
This is what I'm
Sometimes
talking.
we'd die. Matter of fact, not too long ago, we went down 100 feet.
that was in Nassau.
Yeah.
And I like airplanes too, models and real.
Yep. You fly real airplanes?
Used to.
Yes, I did.
Used
Oh.
We used to have a private pilot's license, so you could fly the little planes.
You're so lucky.
That's what happens when you're smart. You can do stuff like that. What are you shooting at me for? This is your grandparents.
Okay, so anyway. What's your favorite thing to do in your spare time?
Who, me or him?
Both.
Well,
Spare time, I like to read and hold Smokey.
Their cat.
Their cat. Pappy, what do you like to do?
I like to walk in the evening and see a nice sunset. And sometimes I like to see the stars and the different animals and things that they present.
Did you see the supermoon last night?
No, what was it?
It was a supermoon, they call it. It was a full moon.
We saw the full moon the night before.
Yeah, it was bright the night before. Last night I got up with Jen to see it, and it was kind of overcast, so we couldn't see it that much, but it was bright, real bright. 30% brighter than normal.
No, wait, this could be your chair.
Ah, I gotta get up. And I don't get up too well.
Good job, Paigey. Keep the heat on. What's your next question?
This is dead air.
Yeah.
Ask them to tell you about their wedding day.
Tell me about your wedding day.
That's too long ago.
Well,
I,
there was a lot of people and
it was
music.
in the old Zion Lutheran Church in
Food.
Wheeling. We had a reception downstairs. I rented my gown for $25.
That's it?
That's it.
That's cheap.
That was before inflation was invented, honey.
And then we, how long was I out of nurses training? About a year before we got married.
Really?
We went to New York on our honeymoon.
Oh, that's
In
sweet.
this old car that had a hole in the floor, old Plymouth.
And we didn't drive very far before we got a hotel and got a room.
And you went to the city. When you say New
Washington,
York, New York
Pennsylvania.
City, right?
Right in New York City. We
That's
parked the
nice.
car, went to 3 nightclubs.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Now tell the story. I remember you talking about the blue cheese. Tell the blue cheese story.
Well, I was in one of the stores, picked up some cheese, and I said, "This cheese is moldy." And your grandpa said, "That's blue cheese. It's supposed to be that way."
That's
When was that?
on our honeymoon in New York.
Years ago.
Honeymoon?
Remember, we just celebrated their 50th anniversary not too long ago, so that
Next
was a
month
year
is
ago.
52.
Wow.
Two.
2
Jeez.
years.
So our party, that big party for them in town here was 2 years ago, celebrating the 50th anniversary. Not a lot of people can do that.
What was
And I
the...
didn't kill him yet.
Yeah, one time we went scuba diving and the guy said, "Do you want to go through a tunnel?" To my wife, Norma. And she said, "I don't know about that." He said, "Well, you can see through it. You can see daylight together." So we went down about 30 feet and got, there's nothing to it. The big man took us through it. She went through it and I went through it. Bunch of fish on the other side. And he said, "Do you want to go through another one?" And she said, "Well, I guess." And when we went through that one, we were down pretty deep. And I looked at the gauge. We were underwater 100 feet.
Wow.
And that's the truth.
And that's about the limit you can go, right? Maybe
He did.
130?
Well, it's called the cave dive, and I told him I didn't want to do it. And the guy was just fooling around. And of course, when they ask you a question, they point, and you say, "Okay," you know, you don't talk when you're... So I was comfortable with him, went through the one, saw the other one, sure, I'll go through. And he tricked me. It was the wall. You looked out and all you could see is deep blue water, and there was a wall right here. So we went up, you know, scuba about, 30, 40 feet. That was in Nassau. That's right after I first got certified.
That's the Bahamas.
So,
Ask Grandma to tell you about the time she met John F. Kennedy.
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember that one.
We was
That's a good
living in
story.
Warwood. When we got married, we rented an apartment in Warwood.
You know what I did?
And we was watching the 11 o'clock news.
You did, did
You can tell.
Well,
Go
let
ahead.
me finish.
Yeah, let Grandma
I was
say
watching
her
the
part.
11 o'clock news, and they said he was landing at the Hyde County Airport. He'd be coming down Warwood Avenue. So I grabbed my robe, and my coat, ran down the steps and across the street. Not anyone standing there. He stopped and shook my hand. He stood up on the porch, didn't even come down. So I shook his hand.
That's awesome.
How about that? You didn't know that story, did you?
No.
Grandma don't talk about that much. All right, let's hear Pappy's side of it.
Well, I heard about a lot of things that politicians do, and sometimes I don't like what they do. So I just stayed home. I didn't even see him. I just saw him from way distance.
Another person, I won the trip to see Michael Bolton.
Oh,
And a limousine come to the farm and picked us up,
oh,
drove us up to Pittsburgh, and Keith drove, and
Yeah, we followed you.
4 kids went. Plus, we got
I got all
2
about
baskets of food,
Yeah, that was a great time.
and we got to sit. You had to stay up on the lawn, and we got to go sit right down in front.
They won a
And he
VIP
come down and
contest.
shook my hand.
She
Michael
met
Bolton.
Michael
that.
Bolton.
Is that
too.
middle
Who's
front?
that?
Right.
He's a singer. He's a
He's a
popular
singer.
He's
So
not as
what-
popular now, but he was very popular.
Yeah, at that time.
It was a radio contest that she won a grand prize. So the limousine ride up, front row seats. We got to go too and eat out on the pavilion. It's kind of like Blossom. It was up in Pittsburgh.
We was allowed to take 10 guests. And then
Wow, that's a lot of guests.
I won a cruise too.
Get
Through
that, it was fun.
CVS, I put a chance in and won a 8-day, 7-night cruise to
Wow.
the Caribbean. You remember that?
Yeah.
Included airfare. That's the first time I ever flew in a big plane.
That's very cool.
What else you want to know?
I got another one. You want it?
Yes.
I remember I really liked airplanes, and I heard about a plane going, no, we were on a plane, and suddenly there was something odd, and the plane was going some funny things, and it was a little bit rough. Found out later they went on strike, and he came down as fast as he could.
Yeah, that's what.
He was
Wow.
ready,
Landed
ready
pretty
to
fast.
land. He was ready to land, but boy, he put it down right now.
They went on strike.
Question about Kennedy. Did he say anything to you? You remember?
I really don't know. He may have said something, but it's so long ago.
Thanks for
It
coming
didn't-
out. How are
It
you?
didn't last very long.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
wasn't anything
because They
profound.
had security there and all that stuff.
And nobody else was standing on
Nope.
the street?
Not me, just me.
Just a small
Pulled up.
place.
I'm
and he
just
saw
gonna
it.
wave
Were you
at him. He
telling-
pulled over.
Were you telling your neighbors about it?
Didn't really know too many people. We just moved there. We only lived there 3 months after we got married.
You
And the
should
guy
tell
wasn't very
people
happy.
about it.
Oh, I told them at the school, and the teachers used to tell the students. Because I'd walk in the room, they said, "Did you know she shook hands with President Kennedy?"
That's a great story. That's a great memory. Even though he was a Democrat. We'll edit that out later.
I was a Democrat, so.
Me and Uncle Pete have different political leanings than Grandma and Pappy. But Grandma and Pappy are aligned with your mother and your grandma Steffi and Papa.
Whoa,
I think they're all crooks anymore. I don't care who they
boy,
are.
it'll burn fast now. You're
This is such a
stubby.
good cigar.
Well, you smoked the whole thing already?
Yeah, it took a while.
What else do you need to know?
That's it?
How long can you?
That's good. I sat up in a deer stand all day 2 years ago, didn't see anything.
Hello, Grandma.
Froze.
Hello, Grandma.
Can you see the large?
We are going
way
to
down-
interview today.
See lines way down there.
Me.
Yeah.
Well, there's a
My
road
hair's a
underneath it.
mess.
When they
We're already
making this
recording.
widen, we
Still a
decided to
mess.
walk out it.
Huh.
Okay, so answer my questions. What was your
Walked
greatest
to the place
vacation?
where they end.
Greatest vacation?
And then another large
We are
one
going
way
to
down.
interview today. Wow.
Take us back up.
Okay, another
Pretty good.
question.